We're live. Hey, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Today's Thursday, I think. Anyway, this is a 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach, and we're here to talk Scrum and Agile. To bring value to the customer, right? That's what we do. And to do it in such a way we get it done quick so we go home. So we're not working 60, 80 hours a week and have a little fun along the way. Go hang out with our friends and neighbors. Do some stuff. We're going to need to de-stress someday here. So why don't we do it by using Scrum and Agile and what we do? So this is our 461st episode. We just got it in at 5:59. I don't know what time it'll go through the ether, but we started. Takes a while to boot up the computers, And this is our 461st episode. I'm going to talk about a couple things. A little continuation talk from yesterday, an idea that spawned in my head from the conversation yesterday about 1-point stories, okay? And the other one, just assigning stories in a sprint, people in a sprint. I want to talk a little bit about that because I see that happen a lot. And what happens as a result? The waste of time. So, okay, first topic I'm talking about is the 1-point stories. We were talking yesterday why I like to use pointing in teams and things like that. And then this dawned on me. For teams that are transforming, a lot of things I talk about are transformation teams. Teams that are really doing good may not need to know this as much as so, but this is something. And we talked about I like using points for complexity, risk, and how difficult they are and things like that. And you can use the size too. I mean, there's nothing like totally crazy, but you can. So I had proposed this out to my organization the other day. I said this. What do you all think about? Anytime we have a 1-point story, that means that story can be done by anybody on the team. And in this world where one person does one job all the time and the other person does another one and so on, it's a radical transformational idea. Larger stories, maybe someone needs to be assigned to it because it needs a lead and there's more to it, or I don't know, something like that, more complexity. But if it's a 1-point story, and this is where I like simplicity in Scrum. People like to make this complicated. Well, if it's this, it's got to be exactly that, and if it's this, it's got to be exactly this with the curve here and a whatever, right? I like to think of it this way. Hey, 1-point story. How about we declare as a team that everyone on the team can do that story? If it's going to be a 1-point story, then anyone on the team can do it. And people are like, oh my God, what do you mean? I mean, so that way anybody can go grab the story and work it and get it done. It shouldn't be very complex. There should be very little risk, if any at all. It's very, very simple. Therefore, and my logic is that anybody on the team should be able to do it. Now, some places where they're transforming, they haven't got to that point yet. Maybe it's a database thing. Maybe it's a front end thing. Maybe it's back. Who knows, right? That needs a couple skills. But I'm like, 1-point story, then we can do a little knowledge transfer, bump it up to a 2-point story, and get someone else to learn how to do it, and get there. But my challenge for the teams would be, how about this? When we start doing these 1-point stories, because everybody likes to make these things so small and so simple and not so complex, I said, well, then there's no reason why anybody on the team, whether it be a junior or senior person on the team, can't do it. Now, some places they might say, well, we have testers and we have developers, and when developers do the developing and the testers do the testing. I'm like, okay, fine. If this is your concern, I'm like, okay, any 1-point testing story means any tester on the team can do it. 1-point dev story can be done by any developer on the team. Just a concept, just an idea, just how to break down this stovepipe, stack pipe, smokestack. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Stovepipe. But this mentality that this one person does this all the time, this one person does it this time, or we're going to assign everybody. And here's the other reason, and I'm going to go into the next part, why I think this is a good idea. So we talked about that. So, okay, got the concept. It's a 1-point story. Anybody on the team can do it. They just pick it. They get it. Now I just kind of hinted to the next part. sitting in sprint planning sessions and assigning stories. I see this a lot of times. People think sprint planning is about assigning people work and who's going to do what work and who's got what skill set. And this kind of leads into the first part. I see a lot of debate. Well, Greg knows more about this, so Greg should do this story. So we're going to assign this story during sprint planning to Greg. Or Jane knows this stuff, and we're going to assign this stuff to Jane. And we have a visitor. Hi, Bubbles. At least you timed it for the transition, kind of. Not very well, but you did. We have our visitor here. Hey, Bubs, you want to say hi? Anyway, okay, just sit. It doesn't stop, right? Got up early enough so I don't get the other ones, but I got this one. Okay, so back to the story. So sprint planning, people like to assign people what to do and say, Greg, you do that. Jane, you do that. Jill, you do this. Bobby, you do that. Okay. Muhammad, you do that. Whatever it would be, right? And as they do that, they spend all this time trying to analyze what was going to be, and then they go into this whole hours thing, which how many hours do you think it's going to take? So let's take the hours and calculate the points. So it's just like, blow my brains out. But I think it's a waste of time. It's a total waste of time. They shouldn't be spending their time assigning work during sprint planning and say, you do this, do that. I mean, it's just not, if you get to the point where your team can pick any story they want, it goes quicker, goes faster. You spend less time assigning people work versus discussing the work. I'd rather discuss the work and how we want to solve the problem as a team and lay out the tasks and do that than spend most of the time figuring out who's going to take what work and have the person agree that they're going to get that work during sprint. Because now it's not a team commitment, it's an individual commitment. But now let's go link this back to the first one, where I said any one-point story can be done by anyone. Now, if you do have to have a thing where you have the more complex things where someone picks the story, by having the first part where any one-point story can be done by anyone, you don't discuss them as an assignment. Getting it? So the idea is that when you're in sprint planning and you have some one-point stories, let's say you have half of them are like one-point stories. They're simple stories. The other half are maybe 3, 4, 3, 5, whatever, right? They're bigger stories and more complex. And you want to make sure that someone's got the lead on those stories. So maybe you have a developer says, Greg or Bill or Jane, you're going to be the lead on the story and you're going to help coordinate and make sure you get feedback from the rest of the team, and it's going to be more complicated. So we want to assign you that story, and then so that we know there's more coordination because it's more complex. You need more feedback. It's going to be a thing. Or Greg, we know you're just coming on board. We need you to do this. So we're going to assign you this complex, got some KT in it. You're going to need some group thing, put those tasks into the story. But you're going to coordinate it. It's your job. You're going to develop it. You're going to run with it. Now, those one-point stories, since we decided that anybody can take those one-point stories, we don't have to talk about them. There's no more conversation about it because anybody on the team can take it. So to see how that works, now we're spending more time talking about the more complex stuff that needs maybe someone to assign and coordinate getting the story done. Where the one-point stories don't need that. If anybody on the team can do it, then you don't talk about it. It's whenever the developer or tester or anybody on the team decides they're ready, they just want to pick something simple. Maybe their brain needs a break from a lot of complexity. They just got a big one done early in the sprint. They go, you know what? I'm just going to take a small story today just to take a break, so I can give my brain a break, right? So I'm just going to pick that one. It's at the top of the list and the priority. I grab that one. I'm going to go do that one. So, but we don't have to assign it because it doesn't matter, right? You can always check as you go who's doing what. Is there anybody on the team who doesn't have work, right? But by not worrying, by taking this idea of one-pointers anybody can do, you don't have to discuss them anymore. They just happen, right? They just happen. Then you spend more time discussing the bigger stories. My proposal. It's a thought process. I see a lot of times that they spend all day debating on one-point stories. I'm like, what the hell are you debating one-point stories for? So you got to come up with these working agreements for the team to not have to talk about stuff that you really should be talking about. Save that time for figuring out what you want to do, planning, discussing, working as a team. So that's what I had today. Yeah, that's it. How about that? All right. So with that, I'm going to say, hey, happy scrumming. Keep on going. I know there's a lot of ground support equipment problems going on in NASA. I think they work so much on the rockets and they don't spend enough time figuring the software for the ground support. Oh, it's ground support. Who cares? Well, lately I would say ground support's been the one thing. It's taking everything. It's kind of like environment issues, right? We work so much on this, we don't pay attention to the environment. The environment crashes, everything's broken. Nothing works. Nothing gets deployed. Nothing goes. Anyway, happy scrumming. Give us a thumbs up if you like us and what we're doing. Ring the little bell so you can get a notification when we go live. We do record this. It's going to be on YouTube. You can share it. So anybody can look at it any time of day, even though we're up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So have a good day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Good luck to everybody overseas who are clamping down and shutting down. And I wish you the best of luck and hope to see you and talk to you more. All right. Bye. Take care. See ya.